Good evening, brothers. Good evening. Good evening. How's everyone doing tonight? Please let me know if you can hear me okay. And as always in the chat, we like to find out where people are from. And if you're working on some models tonight, let me know what you're working on as well. Sorry we're a little bit later than usual. I got two kids, a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, or a 0-year-old, I guess. And tonight has been pretty challenging, to say the least, I guess. So a little bit later than normal. I've been painting so many coats of orange on this Volcon Contemptor, and I'm still not happy with it. Good evening from Sweden. Good evening to It, The Wound, The End. Good evening. How you guys all doing? So I'm going to put like a 4th coat or some nonsense on this orange, I guess. I might start with this chain fist though, because I don't know, I've had this, I just got this chain fist made this week. I think I got it made this week. It's for a Volcon Contemptor, or I guess it's for a Contemptor. Maybe not so much Volcon anymore, but it's for a Contemptor. Greetings, Camille, how you guys doing? Hope you guys all saw the painting competition announced this week as well. So if you didn't, there was 2 videos up about the painting competition, or there was one up about the painting competition. There's a community post as well up about it. So we are running a painting competition now over the next month for a Blood Angels painted model. What was I gonna say? Yeah, just check out. I think the painting competition is going to be open for about a month. So I guess if you're ready to, if you're painting some Blood Angels at the moment and you think they're going to be finished within the next month, then that's going to be valid. Get them ready and maybe we'll see them in our painting competition, huh? But yeah, hope you guys are having a good Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. Overall, I'm doing well. Just a bit of a tough day with the kids, but I guess that's to be expected with 2 so young. I want to try and keep this Volcon pretty simple. Like, the claws are going to be like metal, and most, I guess a good amount of it is still going to be red, right? So I'm going to try and keep these joints red, actually. Try and take some of that paint back off there. Might have to repaint these afterwards red. Making my last 2 Death Company, says Oscar. Nice. How many Death Company you got then? I have like 20 Death Company in a drawer. Honestly, I need to get 2 and finish them all, but like painting black, I feel like I'm so slow at painting black, it's not even funny. Like, edge highlighting is the bane of my life, so. I did spray this guy, but I sprayed him in a cold February Scottish winter day, so the spray is fine enough, just the coverage in some places isn't 100% solid, so I'll have to do a little bit of touch up, but I'm not super worried about it. I assume these little skulls I'll paint gold or something, I haven't really decided, but usually if in doubt, skulls will putting grey over them is fine, but usually we'll go gold or something like that. Zardoz? Good evening, Zardoz. Don't think we've met. Thank you for being here. Good evening. I just got 5 with 5 more on the way, says Oscar. I'm gonna do hazard stripes on this chain fist. I like hazard stripes on chain swords, chain fists. So I'm just going to give it a coat of grey because, do you know what, I could have given it a coat of white, I guess. I always think like yellow goes a lot easier over a lighter colour, but grey should be okay. I think the yellow will go over the top of this easy. And for hazard stripes, I always find it's easier to paint, like just paint it yellow and then do the stripes in black, because black will go over yellow a lot easier than yellow will go over black, right? So that's my plan. We're going to do hazard stripes on this chain fist. And you know what? This chain fist will be a hazard for anyone that gets in contact with it. The flat 6 damage on the chain fist is where it's at. Evening Crycheck. Trying to get some characters magnetized this evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Which characters, Crycheck? Did you guys all see that they are discontinuing a bunch of Blood Angels characters? Corbolo is getting discontinued. Well, I don't know if they said is discontinued as much as like they're going away for a while, whatever that means cryptically. I feel like it's discontinued. Like Corbolo and Tycho have been trash for a long time. That Terminator Captain that's also getting going away for a while. We don't really see him ever played. I don't think he's as bad as the other two, but yeah, we don't. I think I've used him once in 9th edition. We rarely see him, right? Bro, I got my Sangori Guard squaddy ready for the competition. I even made them new permanent bases. Congrats, Miguel. That'll be cool. Look forward to seeing them. I actually haven't checked the email address that I set up for the competition, so some people may have already sent me entries. I haven't checked yet. I spend a lot of my weekends with my family, so it's more like weeknights and stuff that I do the majority of the work on the channel. I mean, like I usually make videos like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and then weekends try and do family stuff. But yeah, cool. Great to hear that we've got some people excited about the competition. I'm excited to see you guys' entries for sure. I recently made a Contemptor Dreadnought with 2 twin-linked las cannons by using the Contemptor Betrayal of Kalash box set and gluing on the las cannons. Well, that's cool. I mean, I used to run my Contemptors with las cannons. I just kind of got disheartened, and I just don't think las cannons are as good as they were. I guess when there's like so much stuff now that's like D3+3 and stuff like that, las cannons kind of fell off for me a little bit. Plus las cannons are super expensive in terms of points, right? Like, I mean, I guess now that the Volkite's gone up quite a few points, maybe las cannons don't feel quite as expensive, but I mean, they're still expensive. They still feel expensive if you ask me. Maybe paint some blood on the chain part. Do you know what? Most of my models, Oscar, are really clean looking. Because I'm not that solid a painter, I would say. I end up just trying, like, my scheme is like a lot, it's almost like primary colors. It's like basic, I guess. So most of my models, if you look at them, they're quite basic. I don't do like battle damage. I don't do, like you said, blood on the chainsword bolt bar. If I was entering the painting competition on this channel, I 100% would not win, so I will instead look at all your cool models and pick some of the winners. You know, that I can do that, but I am not. Do you know what, if I didn't have 2 young kids, like, I feel like I don't get enough painted at the moment. It takes me too long to get stuff going. I think before I had kids, I could easily spend like 20 or 30 hours hobbying a week. Now I'm lucky if I get 20 or 30 hours hobbying a month, you know? So that's my issue, and that's why maybe my scheme is a bit simpler than I would maybe like. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how insulting would it be to get flipped off by a giant middle finger with a built-in chainsaw? It does sort of look like he's gonna flip you off with this giant chainsaw, doesn't it? Or the option would definitely be there to flip off the enemy with a giant chainsaw. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, probably like a 6. If the chainsaw's also got hazard stripes on it, maybe like a 7 or 8. What do you think? I feel like chainsaws deserve hazard stripes. It's kind of... they've had that for how many years, you know? So... I guess that's the way of chainswords. They're going on rotation, which means they won't always be available, says Spiderwing. Yeah, does that not also mean maybe they just want to sell the ones they have left in stock and then they just won't come back? I don't really understand they're going on rotation. Because if they were good models, I guess that means, like, as new players come and join the hobby, then they'd be screwed, right? Like, you know, like if it was, let's say if it was like Mortarion was going on rotation. You know, it's like if you came and played Death Guard and it was like, oh well, you can't get Mortarion anymore because he's quote unquote on rotation. I think on rotation is a kind way of saying discontinued. I cannot see any reason for them to bring Tycho back. He's been dead now in the lore for like 10, 15 years. In terms of like the actual timeline in 40k, like where we are right now with Indomitus Crusade, he's been dead in the lore for a bunch of years as well. So it already makes no sense that Tycho even has a model, let alone rules. So I really think Tycho is just like, they're gonna bring back. How are they gonna make that exciting? Hey, we've brought back a character that nobody uses ever, and is also dead for about 10 years. And we haven't updated his model from like the 1990s. It's still that crappy one that you got 20 years ago that you probably have 2 or 3 lying around, right? Like, I don't understand. Please feel free to correct me though. I bought yesterday an old Start Collecting Blood Angels box with the Terminator Captain in it. Well, cool. I mean, like I said, the Terminator Captain gets a little bit more play than the other ones. Oh, shoot. Oh, sorry, my 2-year-old had got out of bed and I've got a baby monitor on my desk and she's just like not on the baby monitor, so she's just up wandering around the house. My bad. How do I get my name highlight and helmet next to my name, says Dirty Wizard. I've become a member through Patreon. Alright, Dirty Wizard. If you've become a member through Patreon, then basically what you do is you get into the Discord room. The helmet that you see next to the name is for YouTube members. So if you want a helmet next to the name in the stream, you need to basically cancel out the Patreon and become a YouTube member. I was going to say, if you just became a Patreon, I believe only bills you on the 1st of the month. So I think if you cancelled your Patreon like today, if you became a patron after the 1st of the month, they wouldn't have charged you yet. You could change it to YouTube membership. Excuse me. You do battle damage if you think you can, says Spiderwing. Did I finish the Landspeeder? No, the Landspeeder is... The Landspeeder has 4 colours on it, I guess. It's not great. I've been proxying this Chain Fist for a few weeks now because I did some Math Hammer a while back. I actually was proxying both a Redemptor Siege Drill and a Contemptor Chain Fist, and it turns out that both those, like I have the default melee option, I guess, like the Leviathan Claw, and I have the Contemptor whatever, I guess it would just be combat weapon, but it's kind of like a claw as well. So rather than proxy them anymore, I'd like to just get some paint on them. And I guess because it's taken me so long to get stuff done with the kids, in the last tournament that I went to, like all my models were based and stuff, but a few of the models are not finished, I guess. Like, they have enough colours on them to be tournament ready because I put a lot of colours and time into my models. Like I think the Terminators that I fielded in that tournament had like 5 or 6 colours on them, but they were 100% not finished because someone came over and asked me. They were like, "Are you going to enter your army into the painting competition?" And I was like, "No, it's not finished." And they're like, "How have you got it at the tournament then?" I was like, "Well, it's battle ready. You know, like it's got 3 or 4 colours on every model, but like." In terms of like getting time to go and make all the models to the highest degree and do the highlighting and all that sort of stuff, it's not there. So yeah, so I haven't finished the Landspeeder by any any shadow of a doubt, I guess, but things that I'm using and things that I'm playing with on stream, I'm trying to make sure there's at least 3 colors on those things. Someone insulted Andrew's army on Monday night stream last week. I don't know if you saw it. Because he didn't have enough stuff painted, so I'd rather not my Blood Angels got insulted by somebody on the stream for not being painted enough. So yeah, everything that I play with on stream should be, like, I try not to do any proxies, and I try to at least have them all battle ready, so that's what I'm working on tonight, just getting some more stuff a bit more battle ready. I mean, technically, I picked up a couple of Terminators. Like, these Terminators are technically battle ready. They get 3 colors, they get silver, they got brown, they got black. But I mean, they're nowhere. Like, they need so much work on them. So I thought I'd do a little bit of work on some of these Terminators as well. So just I guess jumping between things to keep me on my toes, but also to try and get a few more things feeling like they're a bit more battle ready, I guess. But yeah, no, I'm going to continue, like, my list this week, because I'm fighting Crons on Monday night on the channel, by the way. My list versus the Crons is going to be the same list that beat Tau last week. Like, I'm not going to change anything. We're gonna keep Mephiston in there because at 140 points, I actually don't hate Mephiston as much as I thought I would. So we'll keep Mephiston in there. I guess that lets people see in a few different games if they think Mephiston can be useful. And I actually think last week against the Tau, I don't know if you guys watched it, but Mephiston was kind of my MVP against the Tau. Like, he legitimately did the most damage out of all my models in the entire game. I'm trying to think if it was just pure luck. Or how I played it, but no, I mean, against the Tau, Mephiston was really good. He did well. Sorry about that, Dirty Wizard. It's not super obvious. But yeah, I mean, you can totally cancel Patreon, or if they already billed you for a month of Patreon, then in the future, I guess, think about changing it over to YouTube. It's a weird one because I actually, yeah. I have a lot more members on YouTube than I do on Patreon. But I guess maybe it's just easier on YouTube because the button is right there on the screen. So it's easier, I guess, to become a member on YouTube. Balanced Hydra says, I still think this rotation idea by GW make recasters and 3D printers happy. Yeah, I read a comment like that, Hydra, that basically said, like, if they stop printing certain models and new people join the hobby, will they not then just pirate those models? So it kind of it's kind of a confusing decision or it kind of confuses me a little bit, I guess, would be a better way to say it. Maybe it's not a confusing decision as much as, like, yeah, I mean, if you were new to the hobby and you really wanted a firstborn Terminator captain and you can't get one from gamesworkshop.com, then I guess you'll either go to eBay, because sometimes recasters sell stuff on eBay, right? I know for a long time Volkite cannons were available on eBay for like a similar cost that they were on Forge World, because Forge World just didn't have any stock. Brent says, I still have 2 Relic Contemptors to paint up. And have you still got motivation for that, Brent? Because obviously Relic Contemptors got hit pretty badly, I guess, with this balance update. I had one that was like 90% painted. I think maybe I just needed to paint the arms, actually. Maybe the chassis was completely painted. And I just put it to the side. Like, I'll come back to it in 6 months' time. But for now, that's usually how my painting goes. Like, my painting tends to be focused very much around stuff that is competitive. So if something falls out of being competitive, then it just suddenly goes onto like my back burner. I have so many models that are like half painted. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good model, get painting it, and then it was like, oh, they've changed the rules, okay, this is going on the back burner. And then sometimes it can be years before we get back to them. For my pile of shame is pretty big. or pile of glory, as we like to call it. That guy was a jerk, says Burgosaurus. I don't remember the guy's name, but I did try and like laugh it off and say, you know, like, we are playing with the new Cow Codex literally, what, 2 days after it's released? Me and Andrew both have kids, so if every model isn't painted, then I mean, like, there's channels you can watch on YouTube where everything's going to be gorgeously painted, but you know, maybe, like, I don't know, maybe my channel is doing something different from that. I mean, I'm obviously not trying to compete with those channels anyway, so if you watch, you know, you guys watch me week in, week out or whatnot, I appreciate it. I know that everything isn't always painted as well as it could be and stuff, but one of the things that I want to do, and I was speaking to Andrew about this, was one of the things that I want to do in 2022 is invest some of the money from like channel memberships to improving the live setup that we have, like getting a better overhead camera, getting a better microphone in that area. I also want to get a stream deck so it's easier for us to like switch from camera angles to camera angles. So that's something that I plan on doing in 2022, but like, you know, my channel's small, it's growing. I mean, it's still growing. So yeah, I mean, you know, people are allowed to have criticism. I'm not above taking criticism. But you know, I am wanting to improve things. If money was no object, I would have improved things already, you know what I mean? So we'll continue. I'm sure if you went back and watched my first battle reports like 18 months ago when the channel started, I'm sure they were absolutely terrible. So hopefully things are improving anyway. The Blood Angels Terminators are the most busy models I've ever painted. They're exhausting. They look pretty busy, don't they? I guess you haven't painted very much Chaos stuff and stuff like that, but you know what? I haven't really either. I'm very much an Imperium guy. I've painted some other Firstborn Terminators, but not the close combat ones, and I have a lot of close combat ones, so I guess I'll tell you once I get into them. But yeah, my problem at the moment is just finding the time to fully finish models with the kids. Like, I just don't get the time. I have to take vacation from work just to be able to do any sort of meaningful painting. Because like on these streams, yeah, I get a little bit done, but not that much. Sometimes I get to the end of the stream and think like, wow, I get nothing done. So if I go through YouTube, it's better than Patreon. I mean, if you go through YouTube, you get the badge next to your name. It really makes no difference to you, Dirty Wizard. The perks are the same on both. You get access to the members room. Yeah, I mean, it's 6.5 a dozen really. Whatever you want to subscribe with, whatever you're more comfortable with, it makes very little odds to me. I think I get more percent of the money from if it's paid on Patreon, but like it's probably quite minor. Crimson Jacket asks, when I paint Blood Angels, am I going off box art or am I going off anything specific? I'm really going off what Blood Angels looked like in the 90s, Crimson. And that's probably my biggest influence in that, like, when I did Blood Angels in the 90s, they didn't really use Mephiston Red as the main paint. They used a paint called Blood Red, and it was a much more vibrant red than Mephiston Red. So in some ways it probably looks a little bit more cheesy or less realistic. You know, like the whole thing about Warhammer is supposed to be like, it's supposed to be this gritty, grim, dark determination of the future. I guess my guys are a little bit more old Hammer, I guess is what I would say, where they're a little bit more bright colors. But I mean, that's kind of the whole beauty of Warhammer, is like, once you've bought the models, beyond that, everything is up to you, right? If you want to go grim, go grim. If you want to go bright, go bright. So I use a brighter red than Mephiston red. You can see it because I sprayed this guy Mephiston red. So whatever, yeah, I mean, like, this bit here that I haven't painted yet, that's Mephiston red. This bit here that I have painted, that's Evil Sun Scarlet. So you can see there's a definite change in the shade there. This here is much. It's, like I said, it's probably a more realistic, like, on the war-torn battlefields of the far future. Are your guys going to be prancing around in like really pristine-looking red armor? I'd argue that they aren't, but it's how I've always painted them, so it's how I'm going to continue to paint them. Maybe if I ever finish this army, which won't be for at least 10 years, then maybe I'll paint like some guys in a more gritty feel. But yeah, I am not anywhere close to that. Good evening, Steel Rain. How you doing? Captain Carlian. Yeah, so that captain that they're discontinuing does have a name. And that's what Reziel put in the chat there. He is called Captain Carlian, and he is the captain of the first company or something, but for whatever reason his model was always marketed or sold as like a captain in Terminator armor, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I'm aware, rather. But he was in one of the books, and his name is Captain Carlian, spelled Karlaen. Might be pronouncing that wrong, but to me that's how it sounds. Carlian. I watch you because I like a virtual hobby guy. Because you're like a virtual hobby guy at my friendly local game store. Yeah, I appreciate that, JT. I mean, I guess that's what these chats are supposed to be, or these streams are supposed to be, is like us just chilling, hanging out. Like what we would do if COVID had never happened, when we could just hang out with people and just paint and shoot the shit, right? And I'm sure that, you know, maybe when everybody's friendly local game stores reopen and COVID is no longer a concern, maybe on a Saturday night you won't watch me, you'll go to your local game store, but that's fine, you know, you do you, I guess. So I tend to give, I'm gonna let that dry for a minute, but I tend to give 2 coats of the Evil Sun Scarlet as well. Just cause, well, I do 2 thin coats on pretty much everything. Who am I kidding? All my colours are 2 thin coats. That's how I paint. That's how they always used to tell you to do it on Games Workshop, right? Thin your paints and do 2 thin coats. Mad respect, says Reziel, for what you do with the channel. Oh, thanks, Reziel. It's very kind of you to say. I just, you know, I just do my best, I guess. Clint, you had a message, but for some reason it got deleted. Ask your question again, and I'll see if I can read it out. Spiderwing says I'm going to be playing a narrative 500 point game later, and it requires me to use a Primaris Lieutenant as my warlord. What warlord trait relics do you recommend for me to use to get the best out of him? Gift of Foresight isn't going to be that powerful with a Primaris Lieutenant, right? Because he's got no invulnerable save. Do you want to take something like Rights of War to give OBSEC around him? Might be an option. Good morning, Life RPG. What country? You must be in Australia or New Zealand if you just said good morning, because it's like 11 PM at night here. In the war-torn future, are you really going to have them prance around in pristine armor? I mean... Oh, I see your joke. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Oscar, maybe they're gonna try. My Blood Angels are gonna try in vain to prance around in pristine armor. Adam Graham, it's been a little while, Adam. How you doing? Hope you're well. Nathan says my Blood Angels are halfway towards flesh tears in color. I don't like bright colored Space Marines. Yeah, and I think if you, like I said, I think if that's your jam, if Space Marines should look dark and gritty and be a bit more gnarly, then please do it. If I'd started the hobby now and didn't have a giant collection of stuff that's done in like the pristine looking, very clean color scheme, then maybe I would start with something a little bit more nitty gritty. You know what? If I was started now, maybe I'd even start with contrast paint, because then I would actually be able to keep up with my backlog. But you know, it is what it is. I've been doing this for a long time, and this is the way that I've got my guys looking, and I just want to keep matching what I've already done. So I'd say I don't dislike my scheme. Like, I think it looks pretty good when they're all together. It's a little bit brighter than some people's armies, but you know what? It's also because everything has moved to the more nitty gritty dark scheme. It does give my army a bit of its own unique flavor, I guess. Like, not if someone else lined up their Blood Angels next to mine, you know, they would look quite different, I guess. Who's the owner of the Hammer of Baal? Sorry. Oh, Captain Carlian is the owner of the Hammer of Baal. Yes, of course he is. It took me a minute to two to put together who we were talking about there. But yeah, Captain Carlian does, in fact, in the lore, have the Hammer of Baal. I haven't really used the Hammer of Baal in 9th edition. Used to use it a lot previously. But yeah, I haven't. I guess the thing is, Smash Captains are kind of just out a little bit now, are they? I mean, you can still make a Smash Captain, I guess, but yeah, I haven't run the Hammer of Baal, I don't think, one time. Here's a question: does anyone in chat actually run Hammer of Baal quite often in 9th edition? Or is it kind of just, do people not see it as worth a relic slot anymore? Is there better picks and stuff? I don't know. I guess chat will tell us in a minute or two. Vox's Spiritum to make his aura bigger, says Chip Hazard. I mean, that's an option. I've never played 9th because of my local GW because of COVID. That's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard pill to swallow, Zardon. I know some people haven't managed to get like any games in due to COVID, and if you're in that situation, then I'm sorry for you. Hopefully it's all gonna get sorted out soon. Oh, cool. Life RPG coming in from New Zealand. Do you know what? I've got family in New Zealand. Life RPG. They are in Auckland. I've never been to New Zealand. I'd like to go sometime. I believe New Zealand has a very similar. I believe it has a very similar, like, landscape in places to Scotland. Like a lot, like. I could be wrong here, but I believe there's something that ties New Zealand and Scotland together. Blind your opponents with bright armor. Please, if you do battle damage, people, ceramite is white, not metallic. That's you told. Steel Rain has clarified that battle damage requires white paint and not metallic. Hi John, yeah, I popped in last week for a few minutes to see how things were going. The channel, unfortunately, I had a family bereavement last year, so it's been hard to get around. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Adam. Well, thanks for popping in when you can. Appreciate it as always, and I'm glad to hear that you're okay though, and hopefully we'll see more of you. I'm sorry that if you've got family things going on, you know, I totally understand. So I've never ever And do you know what? I'm glad that I've never had to edge highlight with this, because I don't edge highlight my red models. I've never used this Fire Dragon Blight paint before. This is the first weapon I've ever used it on, this Volcon. And honestly, this paint feels like it sucks. I don't know if anyone uses Fire Dragon Blight, but like, my goodness, how many friggin' coats of this are you supposed to need? Because when you water it down on the palette, it doesn't really give a smooth consistency, right? Like, let me show you this paint. Like, this is the paint watered down, right? Like, it's all, you know, like, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it gives a very smooth consistency when you water it down. And like, I just keep putting coat after coat after coat on these little orange bits, and like, you can still see through underneath all the crap that was there before. I'm really not sure how I feel about it. Well, I'll tell you how I feel about it is, I think it sucks. Or maybe I suck at painting. Both things could be true, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of this orange dragon, Fire Dragon Blight. Like, it seems like a... I think some people may actually use this for edge highlighting. Like, that must be a nightmare with the consistency. Unless this is a bad pot of this stuff. Has anyone had a good experience using Fire Dragon Blight? Does anyone think it's a good paint? Anyone recommend some non-GW orange that is better? Hammer Ball is nice, but having nice armor helps more, like Angel's Artifice, says Dino Shepherd. I think you're 100% right, Dino. 9th edition is all about surviving, right? So if you're not surviving, you're not doing your damage. So I think you're right. That's probably why we don't see much Hammer Ball, because it's probably going to be more worth your while to try and survive than do an extra single Thunderhammer swing or something like that, right? Blood Angels take pride in their armor and artistry because Sanguinius taught them the ways they were savages before him. Yeah, I mean, Blood Angels do take pride in their armor, you're right. So, but I mean, I guess there's pride and then there's looking like obscenely red, which I'm sure some people have told me that my army is too red, too vibrant. Maybe it's about time Captain Carling gets his own unique stats and maybe a weapon profile. I'm in Auckland too. It's quite similar to Scotland in a lot of ways, and I've got family in Scotland. It's this life RPG. Alright, nice. Wow, small world, huh? Literally halfway around the world, but similar things. Have you ever used chipping medium? It's really helpful for damage. I don't tend to damage my models. Like I said, my scheme is very clean. All my models are on a simpler end of the spectrum, I guess. So no, I don't damage them. I know some people use like you know, like steel wool and stuff like that, but no, I tend to not damage my models. Dino Shepherd has used Fire Dragon Blight, and I bet you he's used it a lot better than me. Okay, so Dino Shepherd has posted 5 Dragon Blight. Thank you so much for the $5 as well. On Discord, in the general room. Let's have a look. So what's up with my pot of Fire Dragon Blight then? Have I just got a shit pot? Hold on, let me see if I can flick to Discord. General. Yeah, it looks very clean, doesn't it? And this is Captain Carly, and this is who we've been talking about in the chat. And this is this Hammer of Baal. Alright, I mean, you've made it work. Is my pot of Fire Dragon Blight just shit, or what? I guess? There's no such thing as 2 red Blood Angels. You get a tick in my book, Spiderwing. I don't know why, but like, I'm just having to do so many coats of this orange to try and cover over this grey. I'm really unhappy with it. I use Wild Rider Red for highlights. I know a bunch of people use Wild Rider Red. Some people use Evil Sun Scarlet as well, yeah. The only orange I use is Rise of Rust, the Spiderwing. It gets a weird gel consistency. That seems to be mine. Maybe I need to shake this a bit more. It's very weakly pigmented. I just stick with Vallejo orange, says Sinfi. Do you know what? I've used Vallejo paints before. I've used the white one, and it was actually cheaper than the Games Workshop paints, and like, I genuinely think it's a lot better, so maybe I just need to get a few more Vallejo paints when I run out of these GW ones. I also like how they come in dropper bottles, so like you feel like you don't waste as much paint with the dropper bottles. So the paint goes longer and it's easier to control. I feel like it keeps the paint maybe a bit fresher as well, because you never get that sort of like horrible scum around the edges of the paint pots that the GW ones get, right? No one loves those GW paint pots. I'm surprised that they haven't updated them, honestly. It's almost like a running joke about how bad those paint pots are, where you can end up wasting so much of the paint. Alright, I think I'm going to probably end up calling this in that, like, I want to put a wash in between the orange here. Like, I was thinking, like, maybe like Caribor Crimson, maybe? Like, if you guys were gonna wash these orange pieces, like these pieces here, what would you wash? I mean, I've got some glazes. I could put a glaze over them as well. But I was thinking like a wash just to sort of get a bit of contrast on there, but I have no idea what wash. So if anyone's got a smart idea for a wash on these Volkite cannons, I'd appreciate it. It wouldn't need to be like a heavy wash, just something quite light that gives the bottom of the I guess like the coils that are supposed to be running through this gun, like a bit of definition, bit of colour. I've used Trollslayer orange. Okay, so a few people have used this orange, but a bunch of people have used other ones. Okay. Will I do a brief overview of the painting contest again? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I did do a video on it, Reziel. What you need to do is you need to paint a Blood Angels character squad or vehicle. You need to take multiple photos of it, but in one of the photos I need to see like a post-it note in the frame of the photo, like next to it with your name on it, so I can prove that that is your model, you own it, you painted it, etc. And then you just need to email it to that email address I created, which was like, I think it was bloodangelscommander@gmail.com or whatever email address it was. I think it was that. It was in the description of that video. You just need to send me an email with like your 4 photos attached. You need to do that in the next month. So probably around the beginning of March, I will announce a date for like a cut-off for the painting competition. And then at that point, the final, whatever models have been submitted at that point, I guess we'll go into like a shortlist and then I'll pick a winner, right? Should be pretty simple. There's a hobby shop near me with dropper pots to replace the pot lids for GW paint, so that's pretty neat, Dino. I like to alternate a black wash between layers, says Crimson Jacket. I mean, that can work as well. I tend to do my washing. A black wash might work, yeah. Yeah, maybe a black wash, like a Null Oil wash. I'd wash with either Reichland Flesh Shade or Cassandra Yellow. I don't have Cassandra Yellow, but I do have Reichland Flesh Shade. I use that a lot. Atrakin is here with the $1 million question of French fries or onion rings. When you say French fries or onion rings, do you mean potato chips? Or do you mean like actual French fries or onion rings? Because here in Scotland, or here in the UK, we actually have potato chips with both those names. We have onion ring potato chips and we have French fried potato chips, which are basically potato chips that have like longer. Yeah, I mean they look like French. They look like French fries. They're long. I know that Army Painter are doing this speed paint, and from all accounts, it sounds like people that have been using the Army Painter speed paint are saying that it is superior to the GW contrast paint. And I've seen a few videos from creators saying that the speed paint is definitely better, and that they almost are not interested in contrast paint anymore. They're just going to use speed paint. So I guess if you are someone that uses contrast paint, then maybe you want to have a serious look at Army Painter speed paint, because it sounds like it's going to be very good. I cheat and use Blood Angels Red as both a layer and a wash. I mean, you can definitely do that. Blood Angels Red is the contrast paint, right? I use wash down Cobalt Blue. Chips, not crisps. I'm Canadian, so the French population here are very proud of their French fries. We do French fries here in Scotland, but we tend to just call them chips. But I'll tell you, I am more of a sweet potato fries guy. Some people hate sweet potatoes. I don't get it. You know, like, you go to like a restaurant and they want to charge you more for sweet potato fries, man. I'm all over sweet potato fries. I fucking love them. I well prefer sweet potato fries. So French fries or onion rings, I would go French fries, but if it was 100% my choice, sweet potato fries. Dip your onion rings in your chocolate shake. Do you know what? I can agree. I love French fries with a strawberry milkshake, and I would dip my French fries in a strawberry milkshake. That's like sweet and salty. Again, people think I'm weird when it comes to food. I am kind of weird, but no, I'm glad someone else said that they would dip their fried product in a milkshake, because yeah, I love that. Steel spider wing. I definitely made you lose your appetite as well then. Nice. Speed paint is significantly better, says Miguel. So, if you've been using the speed paint, what makes it significantly better than the contrast paint? I heard that it doesn't pool as badly on like the flat surfaces. But I mean, should you really even be using contrast paint on big flat surfaces? That's not really what it's designed to do, right? Like, if you're going to do flat surfaces with contrast paint, do you not just have a similar paint or a similar color that you can use to do the flat surfaces? I would assume that's how you're supposed to do it, right? Nathan got the Speed Painter starter set and he really likes them. I can recommend make a complete Reichland flesh shade wash on the whole model for finishing it. It makes it look like deep bloody red instead of firefighter red. Yeah, I mean, Reichland flesh shade. I go with Agrax Earthshade Dark Ginger. But it does the same effect, right? So all my red models that I get finished, I will go ahead and do like a Agrax Earthshade wash across on the whole model. I was gonna say I've got a dread right here that I did that on, but I don't. But do you know what? I've got this fist here, and you can see here, there's a bit of fluff on this fist, but you can see here that all the recesses have been washed with like Agrax Earthshade. So I still have the very bright red here, but on the edges I've got like this darkening, and I kind of, that's just how I do it. So you can see in here there's a bit of wash here as well. So I do Agrax Earthshade washes afterwards. I kind of just follow the contours of the model, right? But I'm not trying to be 100% accurate. I just find it a lot quicker than if I was going to try and edge highlight the whole model, I guess. So that's my reasoning behind like paint them a bit brighter and then have to spend less time on the edge highlighting. I hate sometimes when they're made like this, though, when their shield like obscures half the model. So it's just like I can't really paint effectively in behind that shield at all. It pisses me off. I like the pallid bone speed paint for purity seals, though. That's a pretty cool idea. So what do you do? Do you, for the speed paint, is it just the same? You just sort of give them a light grey undercoat, or is there a specific undercoat that they recommend for the speed paint, or what? How have you guys been doing it? What's your current Dreadnought models in your list with the points changes? Oh, that's a good question, Clint. So obviously, I guess over the last 6 months, if we go back first to the tournament that I went to in September. In September's tournament, I took 2 Redemptors, and I took my Librarian with Might of Heroes to give one of the Redemptors toughness 8 and Psychic Fortress. Null Zone was the 3rd power, but I'm just talking about the powers that affect the Dreadnoughts. So it was Might of Heroes and Psychic Fortress. So I ran double Redemptor. In the end of that tournament, I went 4-1, and the final game I lost was against a Drakari player, and the reason that I lost the game was Redemptors aren't very good at killing Raiders. Raiders obviously have like a 4-up, 5-up invulnerable save. So your plasma cannons, like high AP, is wasted on Drakari Raiders because they still save in a 5 rather than a 4. In fact, it's kind of shit. So I was running 2 Redemptors, and I enjoy running 2 Redemptors. I still think running 2 Redemptors is good. I think if you're going to run 2 Redemptors, you probably want to include that Librarian with Psychic Fortress, because I don't think Redemptors needed to go up in points, and I think the biggest weaknesses Redemptors have is that they have no invulnerable save. So that's where I'm standing. Like, I would go to a tournament tomorrow and just run 2 Redemptors, same as I ran in September, and just take the Librarian, Chief Librarian with Psychic Fortress, and try and make that sort of tactic work. And I actually don't think that's a bad tactic at all. I still kind of like it. I then, in the tournament that I went into November, and again I got to the top table, I went 4-1, and in that tournament I ran 2 with the Volcons, 2 Relic Contemptors with a Volcon and a Redemptor as well. And although I got to the top table and stuff and did well in the tournament, I felt like 3 Dreadnoughts was too much. I felt like it didn't have enough melee units to back up. So like I played well enough. I'd played the list a bunch of times. I knew what I was doing, and I got to the top table, winning my first 4 games. But I did think, as the tournament was going on, I was like, you know what? I'm not sure I like this as much. It was very reliant on the mortal wounds coming out of the 2 Contemptors, to a point where, like, in a couple of games where I didn't get any mortals, like, it was like, oh Jesus, this isn't looking good. So like the Contemptors are swingy as all hell, I guess. And then since then I've ran 2 weekends ago, or 2 weeks ago, I ran like 1 Leviathan and a Relic Contemptor, both now with like siege claws / drills, because I think that's probably the best option now with the nerf to the Volkites. And I've also, last week I ran 1 Redemptor and 1 Relic Contemptor, again focusing a little bit more on the melee side of the Dreadnoughts rather than the shooting side. So where I am right now, I guess, Clint, is tomorrow or Monday when I play again, I may run 1 Relic Contemptor and 1 Redemptor. I'm probably going to reserve the Redemptor because I've got no way in my list to give it an invulnerable save, so like if it starts on the board and it gets targeted, it could just get killed. And that's kind of why I don't like them anymore, or like them less. 180 points or whatever they were before, that seemed okay, because they're like, yeah, they're 180 points, but they don't have an invulnerable save. But going up to 190 points now or something, 195 points, and still having no invulnerable save is starting to get like, wow, that's an expensive model for no invulnerable save, right? But I guess saying all that, they do save you on CP, so if I was going to go to another tournament, which unfortunately I'm not going to go to for like 6 months, but I think I would either go like double Redemptor and then take the Librarian to back up that strat, because I actually think that strat actually works really well, because if you manage to go first, or you manage to obscure your dreadnoughts, then it is a 13 wood dreadnought. Like, it's not that easy to take down, and if they don't take it down, you repair it with a Tech Marine, and then you give the one that you repaired +1 to its toughness, so it's now T8, so it's much more difficult for them to kill it if they don't, you know. Basically, the Librarian adds like 2 ways of making it more survivable with the Psychic Fortress and the Mighty Heroes. Alternatively, I think you can make the Leviathan and Relic Contemptor work in other ways as well. So I guess where I stand is a little bit sad that Redemptors went up in points cost, but I don't think it changes much of my philosophy on how I use them or how I play them. It's probably quite a long-winded answer. Watch Warp Hipster on YouTube. He's the best at contrast paints I've seen. Okay, I've never heard of Warp Hipster. Whose list is up for tomorrow? Let me check. Steel Rain. Dutster and Will Prober are the members that are up tomorrow, and then next week it's Jones3460 and yourself, Steel Rain. The week after that is Daniel Lindberg and Michael Huff. And the week after that is James Fisher and Life RPG. I guess we're getting a lot of submissions at the moment for lists because of Chapter Approved 2022, I guess. So the queue for members at the moment is like 4 weeks. The queue for non-members at the moment is honestly probably like 6 months. So I'm sorry to all your non-members. I love and appreciate you very much so, but at the moment, if you want your army list reviewed on stream, if you want it reviewed in a timely manner, you kind of have to become a member. I'm sorry, we just have so many requests for reviews coming in because the new chapter approved, and I've had to kind of scale down the show a tiny little bit as well. Like, I've had to drop one of the lists just until my kids are a little bit easier to manage. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to have 2 kids, I guess. So, yeah, it is what it is. Do you think a librarian with a colour palette of some red and a lot of blue and gold would look good? Said Oscar. I mean, that's how I did both my librarians. Both my firstborn librarians, my one in Terminator armour and my one in the jump pack, they're both done mainly blue armour. Like, the jump pack one has like a red jump pack with like gold trims on it. The one in Terminator armour has like gold shoulder pads and like, well, red shoulder pads with like gold, what do they call it? Like Crux Terminatus, I think. So yeah, I think a librarian that's mainly blue with red and gold works just fine. 195 points for Redemptors hurts, says Brian. Yeah, I mean, it certainly does, Brian. I mean, that's kind of why I guess I've been running one Relic Contemptor, because the Relic Contemptor's pretty good. I'm actually kind of considering running the Relic Contemptor with just like a multi-melta, the Cyclone Missile Launcher, and the melee weapon to try and make it even cheaper. But yeah, I thought Redemptor Dreadnoughts were 100% fine at 180 points, considering they had no invulnerable save. Again, it's another one of these decisions by Games Workshop. When you look at the win rate of Space Marine players, the win rate isn't really that high, so why they felt the need to increase some of our most competitive stuff, you know, it beats me, I guess. I don't work for Games Workshop. I don't know why they do these things. The rule of 2 is important for Dreadnoughts. Yeah, I think it is. I think ignoring invulnerables shouldn't exist. I mean, in some ways, I guess Redemptors are good now because they can at least take a single shot from the Tau plasma blast cannon. Whereas, like, the other night, I charged a Storm Surge and I got hit and killed from full health with a Contemptor on the charge. So, because a single save failed and it was like 12 damage. What would I like to see come in Codex 2.0 for Space Marines? Like, I guess there's a lot of things I'd like to see. I'd like to see our armor actually be viable. I'd like to see some friggin' jump pack Primaris units. And I would probably... I was going to say, I mean, the Codex 2.0 is going to be more general Space Marine stuff as opposed to individual, like, Blood Angels things. So, in terms of the Space Marine stuff, I'd like to see the armor get revised. I'd like to see... I'd probably like to see some better stratagems, and also, like... maybe even some more survivability improvements. Like... in terms of just like stratagems that can help you survive, because I don't know, all the other codexes now seem to be getting like crazy array of things that they can do from stratagems. You know, like when Doctrines first came out for Space Marines, we were like, oh cool, these Doctrines are pretty useful, but like if you think about how static Doctrines are, like there's very little control over Doctrines for the most part. You know, it's like turn 1 it's heavy, turn 2 it's assault, turn 3 it's tactical. Sorry, I've done that the wrong way. Turn 2 it's tactical, turn 3 it's assault. There's a tiny little bit of flexibility in Doctrines, right? But like it's so small. If you look at some of the stuff these other races and armies have now, they get so much customization. Like Custodes just had a huge amount of stuff that they can do. Every game turn they can make things better, and this turn they can do heroic interventions, next turn they can do this. I mean, it's kind of huge. So I guess what we'd like to see in 2.0 is like more tools for Space Marines to do well, I guess would be something I would say. I ran an Ironclad in a drop pod in the last tournament. It was very underwhelming. I think melee Venerable Dreadnoughts might do better. What was the problem with the Ironclad? I mean, you get 6 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, if you're using the Chain Fist, right? I'm hoping for Lightning Claws and Death Company. I mean, yeah, that's unlikely to happen in the Space Marine Codex, though, right? That's much more likely to happen in, like, Blood Angels supplement. And I don't think we'll get any changes to the Blood Angel supplement till next edition, right? We already got it, essentially. I know it isn't a great supplement, and like it seems like they missed a lot of things, but like, you know, like look at Chaos Space Marines. They're still waiting on 2 wounds. They were promised 2 wounds like a year ago. So if Chaos Space Marines can't even get like a fact sheet that updates their wounds, like I think if we're clinging to hope that we're gonna get like, you know, Lightning Claws in the Death Company or Primaris Sanguinary Guard or something like this, like it seems a bit far-fetched when it's obviously Games Workshops are obviously struggling to get some of these rules and maps and stuff delivered out, right? You know, Chapter Approved came out, and like literally a day after it came out, it changed the points cost in one of the codexes. I think the Custodes Codex came out on the Saturday, Chapter Approved came out the following Saturday and already has points changes in it. You know, it's I think they're struggling to keep up a little bit. Adam's going to run a list that includes a Leviathan and 2 Ironclads. I do think Ironclads are good. Rizio says I have 3 kids, John. It doesn't exactly get easier. Yeah, I mean, I think 2 kids is plenty for me, Rizio. What's the ages of your 3 kids, man? Can we see the librarians? Yeah, I can grab some of them. Dirty Wizard says try 5 kids, man. Jeez, oh. How do you ever... Having 2 kids, if you just want to go outside for a walk, it takes me like an hour and a half to get ready. With 5 kids, I can imagine you said, like, do you want to go to the park today? And the kids say yes, and then at like 2 p.m. you finally get out the door. You do not realize how much time it takes to get a whole other human ready. Like, it takes a lot of time. Yeah, I can grab the librarians, just give me 1 sec. Oh, Spiderwing, thank you for becoming a member for the 2nd month. Appreciate it. Very kind of you. So by the time I'm finished painting these guys, I'm supposed to, what, hate painting intricate models, because all these... There's so many little bits on these Terminators. I only picked 2 of them out of the box actually earlier, because I was like, I don't know how much I'll get done tonight. Any more than 2 seemed ambitious. Oh, you've got to go to bed now. Good night then. Thank you so much for watching. The Ironclad couldn't, due to all the denials from different armies, and hitting 3s with no support doesn't give any securities visa -1 stratagem and army abilities. I guess. I do like Dreadnoughts in reserve. Elias says, hello, I'm new to the hobby and finding your channel has been a godsend in understanding Blood Angel stratagems, different units. Keep up the good work. Do you have any advice for a first-timer building army? Thank you for being here, Elias. Give me 1 second and I'll answer your question. Let me grab this model. So I'm going to struggle to remember what blue I used in this guy. But I painted him blue with an edge highlight, and then, like I said, gold trims. So gold Aquila here, gold on the belt, gold on the sword. I actually cut the axe off and put a sword on, but in hindsight, I think the axe is probably the better choice now. But at the time, I felt like the sword was a better choice. Got some gold on the shoulder pads, gold on this little angel, red knee pad, red shoulder pads, made his staff thing gold. Did some hazard stripes, but they aren't quite as uniform as I guess I would have liked them to be. But yeah, I think you can make a librarian look good with red, blue, and gold, right? I think this guy looks pretty cool. I like him. I think I put this little transfer here as well for shits and giggles. I don't know. Just cause. Yeah, so Elias was saying first time advice for first time building an army. Elias, are you asking, have you bought any units? Or like what step are you at? Good evening, Benno, how you doing? My grandpa reached 18 kids. Well, I mean, I got my hands full with 2 kids. I can't even fathom having 5. I can't even fathom having 3. Someone has 18 kids, more, I mean, I'm surprised they aren't insane. And they actually still have, if I had 18 kids, 5 of them would be in the naughty corner perfectly. We've started calling the naughty corner timeout. So when my oldest is being a nightmare, I'm just say to her, do you want to go to timeout? Assembly line style painting is the move if you're playing a ton of models at once. Painted 20 occult Terminators. And that was the only way I didn't throw myself into traffic. Yeah, I mean, I painted a giant squad of Death Company with assembly line, and sometimes, yeah, assembly line seems to be the way to go. Unless you're willing to just plug away at different little things, assembly line. Yeah, so I'm going to paint this chain fist yellow for now. And this yellow is going to need multiple coats for sure, but this will in turn become hazard stripes, I guess. I have a combat patrol box and got a pair of Death Company Marines with jump packs. Alright, great. And you have the, what is it, the Blood Angels combat patrol box. I think it might have been Ultramarines blue or something. You're probably right. I was probably Macraggy blue, I guess, for librarians. Like, what is the default blue that you're supposed to use? Like, what is the blue that GW would have you paint librarians in? Would it be Macrag? The patrol box comes with Impulsor, Aggressors, Librarian, Intercessors, and Incursors. Thanks again. Yeah, I mean, I think what you probably want next, Elias, is like a really solid HQ choice. And unless you're willing to convert something, I think the most solid HQ choice right now is the Chaplain on the bike. He just has so much survivability. I know he just went up like 10 points, but I still think he's one of the best HQ choices that you can have. And I think if you're playing like a smaller game, you want like a really powerful HQ that can like zoom around the battlefield and like there's a lot of warlord traits and relics and stuff you can take on that Chaplain on the bike, so there's lots of different ways to build him. But he's legitimately good for like angel sacrifice and stuff, so I tend to recommend that you need some Incursors. If you don't have Incursors for your troop choices, they are the best troop choices for Blood Angels. I also recommend like really survivable HQ choices, and I think that survivable HQ choice is that Chaplain on the bike. And I mean, beyond that, typically I'd usually recommend Sanguinary Guard, but if you're just doing 500 points, you can probably get away by using the Death Company in that. That'd probably be fine as well. So it depends on how much you want to spend, but have a look at the Chaplain on the bike, or I guess he's the Primaris Chaplain on the bike. If you're not sure how to run him, I'm pretty sure I've done a video on him on how he can be made super survivable. And then also have a look at, I made a video on troop choices, so have a look at the video I made on troop choices that talks about Incursors and Infiltrators being the best troop choices for Blood Angels on 9th. Those would be two really good videos to start looking at and let you get up to speed quickly. Just finished a Death Company, says Oscar, 1 to go. You can do it, Oscar. How high do you rank the real value of an Apothecary or Sand Priest in Battalion? 2,000 points if you have 3 Deep Strikers. I barely see you field any healers. I haven't fielded the healer Dark since he went up to 155 points. I used to run him every game when he was 135 points. Maybe I run him 1 or 2 times at 155 points, but Brock says thanks for the stream. Managed to get some freehanding done today. Any chance Lamenters can be in the painting competition? Yeah, Brock, 100%. If you've got Lamenter models, you are more than welcome to enter them into the painting competition. I know when I said like ideally it was Blood Angel stuff, but I'm pretty sure I said successors were okay, or if I didn't say it specifically, Lamenters are 100% valid. I probably should have called that out specifically in the video, but yeah. A lot of time and effort goes into doing Lamenters. I'm happy for you to enter them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends. Like, my armies since September, since I started playing tournaments last year, because I hadn't been to a tournament for a long time before September, but I was trying to build back to getting back into the tournament swing. I probably would have been back into the tournament swing a little bit earlier if I hadn't been for COVID. But when I was trying to build to get back into the tournament swing of things, if you watch the live games, I always play against Andrew. Or maybe not always, I play against Andrew every other week, it feels like. Andrew is like my most regular opponent. Andrew brings all those crazy meta armies that are always very, very difficult to beat and are usually running like the most broken / overpowered / cheese stuff in 40k as it currently stands, because Andrew loves to try and field really powerful / overpowered stuff. And I asked him before the tournament, because we were going to, I said to him, like, I feel like I do better with the Tech Marine than I do with the Priest, since the Priest went up in points. What do you feel like? You know, you play against me, what do you think is more scary? And he was like, no, you 100% are doing better with the Tech Marine, because having the Tech Marine in my army means that, like, it gives a weird dynamic where it's like, if the opponents decide to ignore my Dreadnoughts, the Dreadnoughts are just there the whole game. Like, usually, like, one of them will be re-rolling all its hits because of the Chapter Master, the other one will be hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, so essentially it's re-rolling everything as well. So you just end up with like 2 Redemptors that have like really reliable damage that cannot be ignored. If the opponent ignores them and goes after all my melee units, then the Dreadnoughts can take over the game. Vice versa, if the opponent goes hard on the Dreadnoughts and I manage to keep them alive with like tactical psychic powers and repairs, then my melee units take over the game. And I haven't really run the Priest since then, and I kind of miss the Priest. I mean, the Priest has some cool things. Like, I miss not being able to put my units into Assault Doctrine so easily, because you can still put them into Assault Doctrine in turn 1. It just costs you 2 CP, right? But yeah, no, I haven't run the Priest now for like, I guess 6 months. I miss him a little bit, but 155 points. I guess the way I look at him is 155 points, you got to do a lot of rezzing to get 155 points back, because Priest doesn't really do any damage, right? Steve has wrapped up his entry for the tournament tonight. Nice. You just finished painting a Leviathan, says Adam. You'll post it on Discord now. Alright, cool. Good for you, man. Especially if you've got a lot going on in life. Yeah, so I guess why do I not run the Priest is just personal preference. Like, I've enjoyed running the Dreadnoughts. I've always liked Dreadnoughts. I think you can get a lot of value out of the Dreadnoughts in this edition. You know, I very nearly won a GT with Dreadnoughts just in November. So, you know, I'll be going to another GT this year, and I'll probably be taking 2 Dreadnoughts, and I'll probably try and fight to win it. I mean, I'm not going to go to the GT with a list that I don't think can win the GT, right? So, you always forget about the Chalice and the Priest, John. It's better than the heals. I mean, you can put any unit in Assault Doctrine from turn 1, though. It's called Adaptive Strategy, right, Steel Rain? But then I suppose the difference is that I don't typically go for turn 1 charges. Like, a lot of Blood Angels players maybe do, but like I'm not that player. In turn 1, I'm quite willing to give up points and board control in turn 1. And I mean, I guess you could argue that well, fuck it, you just want to get the guys into Assault Doctrine in turn 1, and then I wouldn't have to give up board control and stuff like that. But I don't know if our army's durable enough. Like, I don't feel like it's durable enough to do that. There's a lot of armies out there that right now I feel can literally murder Space Marines, like almost at a ratio of like 2 to 1. You know, like, so we have to pay 50 points for a model or a unit, and they can pay half the points, and if they manage to get the jump on us, they just wipe our unit. So because of that, I'm more okay, I guess, with like giving up the priest. But you have got a very good point. Like, the blood chalice part of the sanguinary priest is probably as important, if not more important, than the healing. But if it is more important, then you could just take a naked sanguinary priest for 90 points. No jump pack, no selfless healer, no chief apothecary upgrade. Just take him at 90 points and just do assault just put your units in assault doctrine, right? What's the fight stand base for? The fight stand base is for that land speeder that I've been fielding the last couple of weeks. I'm going to keep fielding the land speeder. I don't know if I've played it very effectively yet. I've only used it in a few games, and essentially it is just an attack bike. And again, I did do very well in a tournament where I was running a few attack bikes. And when I went to the tournament, I'd already dropped, like I said, I'd already dropped my sanguinary priest, so I was running individual attack bikes to come in from the side of the board and try and melt stuff with their multi-meltas. So probably going to use the land speeder to do the same thing, and may even buy a couple more land speeders. I think land speeders are probably going to see a little bit of a resurgence because of the changes to engage in all fronts, right? Space Marines melt. I went up against 6 Hive Guard and they picked up my Sanguinary Guard so quick. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Sanguinary Guard. Like, that's why I don't get why they put them up to 32 points per model, because if they can get shot and targeted, they can just get absolutely waxed. Those Orc Buggies are so good as well at killing Sanguinary Guard, and also now, like, look at Tau. Like, Storm Surges are just going to be ridiculously good at killing Sanguinary Guard. Because I think Storm Surges have an ability called Target Lock, and it means that you can't ever use cover. So you could be in cover, but you don't get the +1 to your cover save. It's like you're not in cover. And like, those Storm Surges have like a gun that's, you know, can kill 3 Sanguinary Guard with a single volley or something, and it's got like 5 guns on it, you know. I don't know, I don't know if I feel Blood Angels are resilient enough to play that way. And if you can make it work, go for it. But yeah, I've not been feeling it. Typically, if I go after a turn 1 charge, I just lose whatever unit I charge with in turn 1. I usually feel like it doesn't do enough damage. But, I mean, I don't run the big blob of Death Company, which is possibly why you want to run that big blob of Death Company, right? Brian says you just built 2 land speeders. They seem good. Are you going to keep taking Mephiston? Probably not. I'm going to run him a few more times, though, because I just want to run him a few times now that he's 140 points. Eve says, could a Sanguinary Priest with no jump pack work? Just have him walk with Blade Guard. Do you know what? I've given up my Blade Guard. I used to always run Blade Guard. I ran them for pretty much every battle for probably a year. And recently I've been... And do you know what? It's funny, because here I am painting Assault Terminators, because I painted my Blade Guard before I painted my Assault Terminators, but now I've gone back to Assault Terminators. And I think the reason is, like, there's too many armies with too much shooting. 6 months ago, I was able to just walk my Blade Guard quite happily into the middle of the board in every game and, like, almost be like, hey, I'm here, if you want to shoot me, you can shoot me, and not worry about it too much. But it just feels like over the last 6 months, it's been like, okay, my Blade Guard got killed in turn 1. Okay, my Blade Guard got killed in turn 1 and did nothing. Okay, my Blade Guard died again. And it just got to a point where, like, I just felt like I wasn't getting enough out of the Blade Guard anymore. I even tried putting them inside an Impulsor and paying the points for that, and still didn't think it was good enough. So I've moved I'm not running Blade Guard anymore. I'm running Firstborn Terminators. Mainly because they can teleport. But yeah, I mean, you could run a Sangari Priest with 5 Blade Guard, but again, I tried it and I never really got it to work. So I see ideas or strategies, I try them 2 or 3 times on the stream. They either work and I latch onto them, or they don't work and I ditch them. And I guess that's kind of how I build my tournament lists, I guess. It seems like most armies are trying for Alpha Strike because the damage running around. Yeah, I mean, that is true as well. Bring my Smash library for 1 game, John. I mean, okay. DM me your Smash library and we'll bring it in a game. Maybe my thing right now is like, you guys, like a bunch of people in the channel love Dante, and they think it's almost like heresy that I run the Bike Captain, because I should be running Dante because Jump Pack is what Blood Angels is all about, I guess. But like, maybe the reason I've ran Mephiston a couple of times is because like I just want to see if I can make Mephiston work, like, because I love Mephiston. He used to be so good in the old editions. I used to run him all the time in like 2nd and 3rd edition. I used to just absolutely love him. So maybe my thought with Mephiston or running him a couple of times is like, I really want him to work, but I don't know if he can. It would be cool to win a GT with Mephiston in it though, when everybody's saying he's shit. But again, this is what I was gonna say, is like, if you've got a strategic plan for like 1 unit, you can usually make just about 1 unit work in any list. You know, you can have 1 unit that's not at the top of its game, I guess. Still do well, still win games. But yeah, against last week against the Tau, Mephiston was actually MVP. I wanted to go back through that game, Reziel, and actually work out like how much damage he did. Because I think Mephiston was actually my MVP in that game, which is not something you say very often, I guess. But no, he legitimately did work. Hey Mark, how you doing? It's been a little while, hope you're well. Just finished my 10-man assault terminators. The deep strike is such an advantage. How do you run them, Clint, then? Do you actually run a 10-man squad of terminators and deep strike the lot of them, or are you more of a, like, what am I trying to ask? Are you more like 2 squads of 5, teleport homers? What's the plan for your 10-man squad of terminators here? Storm Shields and Thunderhammer Terminators are so great to fight over a mid-board objective, especially in cover with the Sangari Priest. Mines do quite well if he's a 10-man squad of Grey Knight Terminators. Yeah, do you know what? Now that I'm running a bunch of Terminators and they are 43 points per model, again, you know, like, does that give more value to the Sangari Priest? Yeah, I'm sure it does. And like Dreadnoughts, I guess they're going to be out a little bit because of Tau running around with the ability to basically one-shot any vehicle off the board, right? So maybe we will. That's a good point. I need to switch to another microphone. Where did the Blood Angels Commander shirt come from? Oh, I've been wearing this all night, man. You guys can hear me now, right? Cool. Yeah, I mentioned killing. I said taking Mephiston to GT, or winning a GT with Mephiston on the list, and my whole setup just exploded. It just went like, John, you're fucking crazy. Yeah. The microphone died, the phone died. It was like, no, you don't say these things on stream, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, how do you get a Blood Angels Commander shirt? This was the first one that I ever got made before I changed my logo and changed the name. Honestly, the company that made this one, like, I wasn't happy with it though. Obviously you wash t-shirts as you do, right? I like the first time I washed it, it like faded like really badly, and I feel like the material also is like really thin and kind of cheap. So plus, like, it wasn't cheap to get done, so I guess like I wouldn't recommend this one.
to people. And hold on, I'm just going to unplug this phone because I think it's being kind of funny. It's showing me like a restore screen. Support.com iPhone/restore, whatever the fuck that means. This one was working fine earlier. I'm going to turn it off and on again. I don't have to restore my phone. Is Mephiston trying to contact you from the warp and tell you to let him reap his bloody vengeance? I mean, he might be. I don't know why else I'm trying to include him, I guess. I still want the Blood Angels Commander logo. I appreciate that. I guess I'll commission another shirt from somewhere else and see if it comes out better quality than this one. I mean, if you want me to send you the logo so you can commission your own shirt, if you know like a good place that do t-shirts, I guess I wouldn't have a problem with that. I know that YouTube apparently have an arrangement with a site called T-Fury, but you need to hit 10,000 subscribers and then you can do merchandise on YouTube. And I mean, we aren't a million miles away from 10,000 subscribers. I would hope maybe a couple of months, and then maybe we can see if T-Fury are better than the site that I commissioned or I got this one from. Because I don't. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, like, because it wasn't cheap, so I really don't want to be like, hey, you can have a Blood Angels Commander shirt and you guys pay like 20-25 bucks for it, and then you're like, yeah, this shirt's a piece of shit. And that's kind of how I felt about this one, because otherwise, because if it had been good quality, then maybe I would have had made more of them made, you know. I've heard good things about T-Fury, says Foz. Well, that's cool. I know T-Fury have this deal with YouTube. You just need 10,000 subscribers, and then apparently you get like a section of your YouTube channel can just be for like T-Fury designs. I'm trying to find an artist to commission like another piece. So I'll have like, I could have one that's the logo, but I could have one that's a little bit more alternative / fun as well. So that's kind of what I'm planning. But yeah, I'd kind of taken my foot off the gas with that, just because the independent one I tried was a bit crap, I guess. 100% have a Blood Angels Commander t-shirt. T-Fury are quite good, some of their prints can peel quickly though. Okay, well this one doesn't look like it's peeling at all, like it feels like it's in the fabric. So T-Fury, when you say peel, like they're printed and they're stuck on? I don't like the idea of them being stuck on. If that's what T-Fury do, I guess that's what T-Fury do. This one is definitely in the fabric. But like, I just felt like it lost its vibrancy, like after like 1 or 2 washes, maybe even just 1 wash. I mean, I guess when you're getting custom prints, maybe that's just what happens. They don't particularly wash very well, or they don't keep their vibrancy. I don't know. It feels like it's, you know, it's so hard to get stuff. It's that old saying, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. Alright, I'm gonna have to take off in a few minutes. I get a 2-year-old to go look after and put to bed, or move to my bed, I guess. But we're going to be back tomorrow night for the Army List show as always, and then Monday night is going to be Necrons. We haven't fought Necrons since they got the balance slate, I guess? Like core added to a bunch of their models, and points drops right across the entire list, so my friend John that we play sometimes on the channel is bringing the Crons on Monday, and he'll be bringing a new list with the points drops and all the core shenanigans and rerolls, so I can't remember the last time he lost against Necrons, but he should be a little bit stronger now, I guess, right? Night Maverick, thanks for hanging out tonight. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you get some hobbying done as well. But yeah, I'm taking off in a few minutes. Just going to put another coat of yellow on here. We're going to need a lot of coats of yellow in this, no doubt. Oh, ye hazard stripes. Enjoy an easy win on Monday. I thought, were the changes to Necrons not enough? Are they still trash? I mean, I don't play Necrons myself, but like they did get a lot of changes. Go on AliExpress and you'll get a good deal for a bulk order, and give you good quality t-shirts and beanies if you buy some. What is AliExpress? I've heard of that site a few times. I thought it was like a reseller, or what exactly is it? It's basically stuff from China. I'm a Necron player, don't forget. I can trash them without fear. They're better than they were, but they're still quite weak. I'm not sure if... like, I think I'm supposed to play Andrew's Tau again. And I think Andrew wants to continue to run 3 Storm Surges, because I guess he thinks it's really strong. He did lose against Colin's Death Guard as well, so like his fancy new Tau list has gone 0 wins, 2 losses, so I'm not sure it's that fancy, but like he did send me a list saying like he's going to continue to try and make 3 Storm Surges work. I don't know if he's just being stubborn or if he just thinks that the Storm Surges are actually that good. I mean, they are good. But maybe it's like when I suppose maybe it's like when I tried to run 3 Redemptors in a list and I thought like it's just not as good as 2 Redemptors. So maybe you should just be running like 2 Storm Surges and he's trying to push it too hard and take 3 of them. And that can happen, I guess. Like you can get fixated, or you can be convinced something's going to be good and it's not as good as you would expect it to be, right? Good evening, Underdog Painting. How you doing? I'm calling it in a few minutes, so appreciate you guys dropping past though. My overhead camera ran out of battery and then everything exploded, so we're on a different camera tonight. for the last 20 minutes of the stream, I guess. Where you guys can literally see nothing, so appreciate you still hanging out though. Yeah, these Terminators have a lot of work to do on them, you know that? Like, there is a lot of different pieces, and I guess my lighting against this way is actually terrible as well, because the lighting is coming backwards, so... These storm surges are a trap. Yeah, I think it's right. I got the Sanguinius Forge World model. I hope it can make... Are you going to enter it in the painting competition, Mark? You saw we're doing a painting competition, right? With prizes. Painting competition with prizes, nonetheless. I just announced that like this Wednesday, so... You just got Sanguinius, go for it, paint him. Enter it. I'd be very surprised if there wasn't a single Sanguinius in this painting competition. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try. Go for it, yeah. Why not? I'm excited to see how much... Like, I'm excited to see how many people actually enter the competition. Like, if it's going to be, like, 10 or if it's going to be 100. If it's going to be 100, that's going to be kind of crazy, but I guess we'll see. Alright, I mean... I don't have my right camera on, and it's midnight when I normally kind of call it anyway, so thank you for watching, guys. I hope you did at least enjoy some of the stream tonight. Sorry for the technical issues, and sorry that we started late. I will be back tomorrow night to look at army lists, and then I'll be back on Monday night to play against Necrons. I'd love it if you would consider joining me for either of those two streams, and if you do enjoy my content, I always appreciate it if you can hit that like button. That's very much appreciated. I will catch you guys tomorrow night. Have a great weekend. Arc Royal, did you ask a question earlier and I miss it? Because sometimes that happens. Oh, yes, you did ask a question. Sorry I missed it. Yeah, sometimes if I miss a question, just ask it again, because so much is going on in the stream I can forget stuff. Do you use whiskey stones? No, I tend to drink my whiskey at room temperature. Sometimes I might put ice in it, but usually it's room temperature. But I guess whiskey stones are good, Zach. Have any problem against using whiskey stones? It was about Angels of Death. Yes, it was. I've actually only watched the first 3 episodes of Angels of Death. I guess what had happened was my wife went to hospital with my baby, and he was 5.5 weeks early, and he was born missing a bit of his intestine, and that happened right in the middle of me making that series. And I actually haven't watched all of Angels of Death just because I kind of completely forgot about it. So thank you for the reminder. I will try and remember to watch the rest of it and make some videos on it. I was enjoying it. The one thing, my biggest criticism with Angel of Death is I hated how you only got 1 episode a week and that the episodes were only about 10 minutes long, so I have about 5 episodes I guess to get through now, or maybe I have the rest of the series to get through. So I will try and do that, Arc Royal. I appreciate the reminder. It has been so much more difficult for me to get any time to like film videos and stuff now that I have 2 kids, and obviously one of them was 5.5 weeks early, so he's quite premature still and he needs like a lot of attention. So that as well. But everything is going well. Thanks for asking. I'd love to get round to it. I will try and make the time. But yeah, guys, have a great evening. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all tomorrow night. They always say the first 3 months with a new baby is the hardest, so Michael, my son, just turned 2 months old like last week, and everything is fine now. We think, we don't really know, but we think like he is growing, so I think everything seems fine. But yeah, so hopefully in the next few weeks, next months, I'll have some more time and I'll be able to get some more videos out. Alright, I will see you guys soon. Peace. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed tonight. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.